Hey, what's going on, guys? Coming to you today with some back training help. Oftentimes, when we go in the gym, there's a tendency for some people to shy away from the big compound movements. Part of it, I'll hear people say all the time, well, I've got a bad back, so I don't deadlift or I don't barbell row. Or there's some people that say, well, I feel my back a little bit more when I don't do those big movements. I feel my back more when I do machine work, things like that. So generally speaking, what I notice a lot of is guys avoiding compound movements. And at the same time, I also notice that, I even noticed this with myself, when we're doing a lot of compound movements in one workout, the deadlifts, the barbell rows, the dumbbell rows, pull-ups, you sometimes spend a little bit more time because it's intense and it's heavy and, you need a little bit more time to recover. So a lot of times people say, well, I don't want the workout to turn into an hour and a half back saga. So what I'm coming to you today with is a way to not only make compound movements more effective. If you're one of those people who says, well, I do barbell rows or I do deadlifts, but I really don't feel it working the back, this workout's gonna solve that. If you're one of those people that says, when I do barbell rows or I do deadlifts, it hurts my lower back, this workout's gonna solve that. And if you're somebody who's pressed for time and maybe you can't dedicate an hour and a half to back training, this workout's also gonna solve that. So what we've got, we are gonna hit all the main, the big effective movements, right? We're gonna do cable rows, we're gonna do barbell rows, we're gonna do dumbbell rows, deadlifts, pull-ups, and pullovers, right? We're gonna hit them all. We're gonna tick all the boxes. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna superset. So for example, we're gonna start off supersetting cable rows with barbell rows. Why are we gonna do that? Well, for a lot of people, they have a hard time connecting, right? Just getting that mind-muscle connection when doing barbell rows. By doing some cable rows first, right? Most people, they do cable rows, they feel their back muscles working. We're gonna do cable rows first, basically to switch everything on. Get some blood in the back, get everything a little bit pre-exhausted. We're gonna go over and do barbell rows. Now, not only are we gonna feel the barbell rows more, but we're not gonna have to go crazy with the weight, okay? Myself, if I'm fresh and I'm doing barbell rows just as a standalone movement, I may go to 3 plates and a quarter. If I'm really strong, going up to 4 plates. Can't do that with this because I just don't have the juice, right? I just don't have that kind of energy or stamina, whatever you want to call it. Because after doing a heavy set of cable rows, the amount of weight that you're able to do on the bent over barbell rows is dramatically increased. However, the barbell row now becomes much more effective because you could feel it working. And because you're not using as much weight, it's not going to tax your lower back. And because you're supersetting, we're going to get things done a little bit quicker. So, you see where I'm going with this? Start with the cable rows. We're going to use a wide grip and make sure to not lean back too much. Sometimes you see people, they lean forward on the negative, and when they come back on the concentric portion of the movement, they're pretty much laying down on the bench. We don't want that. We want to try to maintain a pretty rigid posture. It's okay to get a bit of a stretch on the negative, open the back up, and when you come back on the concentric, you want to picture yourself being perpendicular to the floor, right? You want to be straight up and down. You probably, as the weight gets a little heavy, you're probably going to lean it back a little bit. That's okay, but you want to aim for straight up and down. In the worst case scenario, end up leaning back just a little bit. Because these are the first 2 movements of the workout, we're going to take a little bit of time to warm up, right? So first set of cable rows, I'm going to use a weight that's, moderately challenging. I can get it for 20 reps without killing myself. But by the time I hit 20, I'm feeling it. Okay, my back is pumped, it's fatigued, and it's burning. Going over to barbell rows, same thing. I'm just a plate, okay? But I'm gonna hit it for 20 reps. And again, because I did the cable rows first, by the time I hit 20, I'm feeling it in my back, okay? So I'm laying the foundation for the sets that are coming. Now, after this, 2 more sets, right? 2 working sets. On these sets, I go pretty much all out. When I increase the weight on the cable rows, it's to a weight that I could get, I believe, around, say, 15 reps, right? That's what I'm shooting for, 12 to 15. And when I go over to the barbell rows, I'm gonna add another plate, bring it up to 2 plates, and same thing, I hit about 15 reps. By the 3rd set, we're only looking for, say, 8 to 12 on the cable rows. And on the barbell row, by the time I add another plate, and I'm doing 3 plates now, doing them back to back with the cable rows, dude, that kicked my ass. Only able to get 5, 6, you know, ideally we'd be getting about 8 reps, but it kicked my ass a little bit harder than I expected it to. But as somebody who uses 3 plates regularly on a barbell row, I could tell you they don't normally feel like that, okay? The effectiveness, the mind-muscle connection, the work that I can feel the compound movements doing as part of the superset is definitely, in my opinion, it feels more effective. And for especially a lot of you guys out there, you know, who you tend to shy away from these movements, do it this way, give it a shot, because I think you're gonna you find yourself feeling these movements in a way that you haven't before. Speaking of, we now move on to doing bent over dumbbell rows and supersetting these with deadlifts. And you might say, well, why superset the 2 of these? The answer, I don't know. I've just done it before and I can tell you it works awesome. For the dumbbell rows, I pick a weight that I could get for say 10 to 12 reps. Now I'm already warmed up, okay? I'm already sweating, everything's warmed up, my lower back is warmed up. I don't feel the need to do a warm-up set with these. So I'm ready to rip. 10 to 12 reps on the bent over dumbbell rows, and I go over to the deadlift. Now, here's one that I promise you, if you're somebody who says, you know what, the deadlift, I don't really feel it in my back, it hurts my lower back, this is perfect. Now, regularly, if I'm fresh, you know, deadlifting 4 plates, you know, for 10 plus, or go up to 5 plates, etc., isn't a problem. As part of this superset, 2 plates is all I need. Going super, super slow on the negative, the time under tension is increased dramatically, and you're able to really focus, okay? Take the focus away from your lower back and put it across your traps, your rhomboids, the meat of your back, you know, that you're really hoping to hit. Do it this way, and I promise you, you will feel it, right? So the negative is super slow, you control it all the way to the ground, right? We're picturing trying to keep our chest above our ass the whole time, right? Bend at the knees, use the legs. And as soon as those plates tap the ground, same thing, we're controlling it, right? We're not slamming the weight. As soon as those plates tap the floor, we're back up and we're squeezing our back. You do it this way, if you could get 8, 10, 12 reps done in this fashion, I guarantee your back will be on fire. I'm not saying there's not value to walking in the gym and putting on 4 plates, 5 plates, 6 plates and deadlifting it. Absolutely, absolutely. But we're not gonna do that every week. And there's a lot of us who, maybe we don't feel that, or it hurts our lower back. So here's a way to do it, okay? And get really the best of everything, right? You're still getting to do the movement. You're feeling it in your back, okay? You're protecting your lower back. And again, because we're supersetting, we're getting this done pretty efficiently. So 3 sets of this, you know, the supersets, and I was toast. After this, we went on to supersetting cable pullover with an assisted pull-up. There's no way that I'm doing free weight pull-ups at the end of this. You know, some of you guys out there watching this, if you're lighter weight and it's the end of the workout and you could still do just a free weight pull-up, awesome, go for it. That's the goal, right? That's the ideal. But you know, making sure on the cable pullovers to try to keep my torso as erect as possible. If any of you guys out there have competed, when you're bringing the weight through the negative portion of the movement on the pullover, you're really trying to open up rather than, it's not just move your arms, right? We're trying to open through the rib cage and basically through the spine, and trying to keep shoulders back and not cave in on it. That's the tendency, of course, as we go on and we get tired, and especially if we're using heavy weight. But do try to keep your posture as good as possible for as long as possible. Of course, as you get toward those last couple reps, do what you got to do to make it happen. But then moving on to the assisted pull-up, And this is a movement, you know, granted it's not the most badass looking, we're gonna be honest, but you know what, it works. And for somebody like myself who, you know, there's no way I'd be able to do pull-ups at the end of a workout, I'm able to still take advantage of the movement and really focus on the lats, and if I need to mess with the assistants, I can do that. Great movement. So 3 sets here, and by the time I was done with this workout, I was spent. And the greatest thing was I got this done, I think it was just under 45 minutes. I mean, this was a lot of movements, okay, and a lot of material and a lot of meat done in 45 minutes. And again, we did it in a way that was effective. I mean, my back was pumped, it was screaming. My lower back, totally fine. You know, it's not like I walked out of here crippled. And again, as I said, we got it done quickly. So this is a workout I could highly recommend. I think you guys would really appreciate it. I'm not saying to do it every week. You know, yes, do your heavy deadlifts, you know, conventionally. Do your heavy barbell rows as a standalone. But if you're having trouble connecting with it, try this. If you're crunched for time, try this. Just because you're crunched for time, it doesn't have to mean, you know, a circuit of machines. You know, you can still do those compound movements, just do them a little bit lighter, pair them up as a superset, and I bet you it'll kick your ass. So I hope you give this a try. I hope you like the video, and stay tuned for more.